Most cars die young. Engines cooked, transmissions slipping, warning lights flashing before 150,000 miles. But mine didn't. It's sitting in the driveway with over 800,000 miles. Same engine, same transmission, still running like new. How? Not luck, not magic oil, just 7 simple habits I've followed for decades. The same ones Japanese fleet mechanics, taxi drivers, and million-mile owners quietly swear by. Today, I'm breaking them all down, the real habits that make cars last forever, and the mistakes that kill them early. Pay close attention to 7. It not only adds years to your car's life, it keeps thousands in your pocket. Let's get started. If you want your engine to live past 300,000 miles, start with what goes into it. Fuel quality matters, more than most drivers realize. The detergent additives in gasoline are what keep your injectors, intake valves, and combustion chambers clean. Without them, carbon builds up and slowly chokes the engine's performance and efficiency. Over the last decade, researchers have repeatedly proven the difference between fuels that meet the minimum government standard and those certified as top tier, and the results are not even close. Top-tier fuel contains 2 to 3 times the detergent required by the EPA, which means it actively scrubs carbon as you drive. In testing, engines run on low detergent gas showed massive deposit buildup in just a few thousand miles, the same kind of buildup that leads to rough idling, reduced fuel economy, and eventually expensive repairs. Automakers like Toyota, Honda, GM, and BMW jointly endorse the top-tier standard for a reason. It is not about octane, it is about chemistry. Whether you run regular or premium, what matters is the detergent package blended into the fuel. Brands like Chevron, Shell, Mobil, Costco, and Quick Trip all meet the spec. Off-brand or discount stations often do not, and while you might save a few cents per gallon, you will spend hundreds down the road cleaning intake valves or replacing injectors. Modern engines, especially those with direct injection, are far more sensitive to dirty fuel. A few months of cheap gas can leave microscopic carbon deposits that act like sandpaper inside the combustion chamber. Over years, that translates to compression loss, higher oil consumption, and irreversible wear. The fix is simple. Be loyal to stations that display the top-tier logo, and when you cannot, use a reputable fuel system cleaner every few thousand miles. Think of it as a preventive tune-up built into every tank. Keeping your fuel system clean is not an upgrade, it is the foundation for hitting 800,000 miles. The moment you start your engine is the most dangerous time for it, and most people have no idea. When an engine sits overnight, all the oil drains back into the pan. On startup, there is a brief window where metal components are moving without full lubrication. That dry friction is microscopic, but it adds up over years. In fact, most engine wear happens within the first 10 minutes of operation, before the oil reaches full temperature and the internal parts expand to their proper clearances. That is why high-mileage engines all have one thing in common. Their owners respect cold starts. The rule is simple. Start the car, wait 30 to 60 seconds, then drive gently until the temperature gauge starts to rise. No high revs, no hard acceleration. This gives the oil pump time to circulate lubricant throughout the bearings, camshafts, and rings before they are loaded. Even better, avoid stacking multiple short drives. Frequent cold starts with no time for the engine to reach full temperature, leave unburned fuel and moisture inside the crankcase. Over time, that contaminates the oil and accelerates internal corrosion. Cars driven long enough to get fully hot, about 15 minutes or more, burn off that moisture and maintain stable oil chemistry. Fleet vehicles and long-haul taxis, which rack up hundreds of thousands of miles, benefit from this naturally. They stay warm, lubricated, and free from condensation. If your driving pattern is mostly short trips, you can mimic that advantage by taking your car on a longer highway run every week or two. That simple routine keeps the piston rings seated, the oil fresh, and the catalytic converter clean. And here is a secret that veteran mechanics swear by. Avoid idling for too long. While idling warms the engine, it does not generate enough heat to fully vaporize fuel residues. Drive gently instead. Light load, low RPM, smooth throttle. It is the balance between patience and motion that keeps your engine's internal clearances tight and its wear levels low. Most drivers treat oil like an afterthought. They change it when the sticker says to, or when the dashboard nags them, and assume that is enough. But engines that live forever are not maintained by guesswork. They are managed by data. Used oil analysis is one of the most underused tools in car maintenance. It is the secret weapon of fleet operators and high-mileage owners. Here is how it works. You take a small sample of your old oil during a change and send it to a lab. In return, you get a detailed breakdown of what is happening inside your engine: metal content, fuel dilution, coolant leaks, soot, and chemical health. That report shows trends long before any dashboard light does. A rising iron count could mean bearing wear. Traces of potassium might signal a head gasket issue. A thinning viscosity could point to fuel contamination. Pay attention to trends. With that data, you can tailor your maintenance to your engine's exact condition. Maybe your oil is lasting longer than the manual says, or maybe it is breaking down sooner because of your driving pattern. Either way, you stop guessing. For cars running hundreds of thousands of miles, this precision prevents catastrophic failures before they start. The same logic applies to choosing the right oil. Modern synthetic oils are engineered for stability under extreme conditions, but they are not all equal. Stick to the manufacturer's viscosity grade. The engineers chose it for a reason, but upgrade to high-quality synthetics that meet APISP or ACEAA 3B4 standards. These formulations resist oxidation and maintain film strength even after thousands of heat cycles. In high-mileage engines, consistent oil sampling and quality lubricant choice do more than just protect. They extend the mechanical rhythm of the engine. Every analysis tells a story about how your engine lives and breathes. Listen to it and act. You'll be driving well past the mileage most people think is impossible. If engines are the heart of a car, transmissions are the nervous system, complex, precise, and completely unforgiving when neglected. Yet most owners never touch their transmission fluid until the day their gears start slipping. Modern automatics generate extreme heat, especially in stop-and-go driving, and that heat breaks down the fluid's friction modifiers and detergents. Over time, the fluid oxidizes, thickens, and loses its ability to protect clutch packs and valve bodies. When that happens, wear accelerates exponentially, and no flush can reverse it. Many automakers label their fluid lifetime, but that's marketing, not engineering. Real-world testing by transmission manufacturers shows that fluid degrades steadily after 50,000 to 70,000 miles under normal use, even faster if you tow, idle heavily, or drive in hot climates. Changing it before it breaks down keeps the internal hydraulics responsive and prevents varnish buildup inside solenoids. The difference between a crisp shifting transmission at 300,000 miles and a failing one at 150,000 often comes down to nothing more than fluid maintenance. The key is using the exact specification listed in your manual. Modern transmissions are tuned to microscopic tolerances, and the wrong fluid can cause pressure problems or delayed shifts. When you do the service, replace the filter and the pan gasket too. Trapped debris and old seals can contaminate new fluid immediately. Treat the transmission like an equal partner to your engine. Every 50,000 to 75,000 miles, refresh it completely. It's cheaper than rebuilding it, and if you plan to reach 800,000 miles, it's non-negotiable. Coolant is more than colored water. It's a carefully balanced mix of antifreeze, corrosion inhibitors, and pH buffers that protect your engine from within. Over time, those additives deplete, and the fluid turns acidic. Once that happens, it doesn't just fail to prevent corrosion, it causes it. Aluminum heads start to pit, radiators clog, and water pumps seize. That's why cars that run forever are often owned by people who treat coolant changes as gospel. Most modern coolants are long-life formulas designed to last 5 years or roughly 100,000 miles. But that's under ideal conditions. Real-world heat cycles, short trips, and contamination from tap water all shorten that lifespan. Testing shows that after 4 to 5 years, even extended life coolants lose their protective chemistry. If left unchecked, that acidic fluid eats away at seals and gaskets from the inside, causing leaks that mimic age-related failure, but are really just neglect. Acidic damage is quiet and cumulative. The fix is simple. Flush and replace it every 2 to 3 years with the exact type specified by your manufacturer. No mixing colors, no cheap universal blends. Each formula, OAT, HOAT, POAT, etc., has different inhibitors designed for specific metal alloys. Mixing them neutralizes their chemistry, turning your cooling system into a science experiment gone wrong. And don't forget the small details. Radiator caps and thermostat housings fail quietly but are crucial for pressure and temperature control. A weak cap can cause overheating and air pockets, even if everything else is perfect. Pressure control matters. Long-life engines are built by people who sweat the small stuff. Keep your coolant fresh and your system sealed, and you'll avoid the slow, invisible decay that kills engines long before their time. Sealed systems last longer. Engines live or die by what they breathe. A steady stream of clean air keeps combustion balanced and internal wear minimal. But once dirt gets past your air filter, the damage is permanent. Dust particles are abrasive. They scour cylinder walls, dull piston rings, and accelerate oil contamination. That's why clean intake systems are a hallmark of every high-mileage car. Modern filters are incredibly efficient, often stopping over 99% of airborne contaminants, but they rely on proper sealing just as much as the filter itself. Media quality. Even a small leak in the airbox or intake hose can bypass the filter entirely, letting unfiltered air sandblast your engine. Mechanics often find premature wear in engines where owners replaced filters carelessly, leaving gaps in the housing or reusing cracked gaskets. To protect your engine's air path, inspect the filter every 10,000 to 15,000 miles, or more often in dusty areas. Replace it when it's visibly dirty, not when it's choking, because an oversaturated filter can collapse under vacuum and pull debris through. Always use a high-efficiency paper or synthetic element from a reputable brand, and avoid cheap performance filters that trade filtration for flow. Also, check intake hoses and clamps for cracks or looseness, especially after service. Any leak downstream of the filter is a direct invitation for dirt to enter your engine. Combined with clean oil and fuel, a sealed air path keeps the inside of your engine as pristine at 300,000 miles as it was at 30,000 miles. Engines don't wear out, they get worn down by what they inhale. Make sure yours is breathing right. Many cars don't die because their engines quit. They die because the body gives up first. Rust is the silent killer of otherwise perfect vehicles. It starts underneath, where salt, mud, and grime cling to exposed steel and quietly eat away at brake lines, subframes, and seams. Once rust takes hold, it spreads faster than most realize, and by the time you can see it, the damage is already deep. Wash the undercarriage regularly, especially after winter or driving in coastal areas. Road salt is highly hygroscopic, meaning it traps moisture against metal and accelerates oxidation. A high-pressure rinse under the chassis dislodges this salt and keeps the corrosion cycle from starting. In regions with harsh winters, many long-time drivers go a step further. They apply oil-based rust inhibitors or corrosion-resistant coatings once a year. These products creep into seams and crevices, forming a barrier against moisture and oxygen. It is the same philosophy that keeps Japanese and Scandinavian fleet vehicles running decades longer than expected. Pay attention to small details: door seals, drain holes, and pinch welds. Clogged drains in doors and trunks trap water, causing rust from the inside out. Regularly clean them with compressed air or pipe cleaners. Rust prevention is not glamorous, but it is the reason some cars make it to 800,000 miles and others crumble at 200,000. You can replace an engine, you cannot rebuild a frame. The cars that survive are the ones whose owners treat the body with the same respect as the mechanics inside it. Keep it clean, keep it sealed, and it will carry you for a lifetime. Want your car to hit 800,000 miles too? Subscribe for real habits that make engines last, and comment your mileage below. Let us see who is still in the race.